Hello, and welcome to HAZMAT, the only show that got picked as a tribute for the Hunger Games and immediately started rapping.
But I don't think I'd do that.
I would.
Fair
There's no
enough.
way that you picked me. I'm Matt,
And I'm Harry.
and today we're reviewing The Hunger Games, a ballad of songbirds and snakes. Or is it the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes?
I think it's the ballad.
It's not just any ballad.
There was only one, really.
It's the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
If they had put, it would have been very presumptuous of them to put a ballad of as in like insinuating that there's actually multiple songbird and snake ballads.
The Hunger Games is one of the ballads of songbirds
Which
and
I
snakes.
guess kind of there are, because it's more than one song.
There's a few songs.
Yeah.
And honestly, just like this film, they're bangers. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you make a prequel.
This is just how you make a Hunger Games
This
movie.
is how you make a Hunger Games film as well.
Super well done in terms of how like ambiguous it is. If you know the characters and you know the story going in anyway, it's not like really a twist, but it's just the way it was done, I guess, in that like we have this main character who we're supposed to be kind of like rooting for from the beginning, and then by the end it's like, actually this is like the worst guy they ever made.
I do want you to know that I think you're the only person that went into this film not knowing that was President Snow.
I mean, like, I got from like his last name being Snow that it was gonna be, but I didn't know it was like
Actually him.
the guy.
Yeah, but no, like you say, they do a brilliant job. It's like you're rooting for him, but you feel bad about it because you're like, you know how evil this guy's going to turn out to be. But then that final act, you really start thinking like, this is his like turning point. This is what's going to change him. You start to realize like something's going to have to happen to make him the way that he is in the actual Hunger Games films. And it almost happens with the shaving of the head. It's almost, that's the moment. It's like he's shedding like this innocent,
His old skin.
well, not fully innocent, you know, the whole thing is
Shedding his skin like a snake.
like a snake.
No, it's one of those things. It's kind of weird. Like, basically, like the whole time you go through and it's sort of like an origin story, like you said. They make a point of being like, you can understand why it changed him, but you can't justify it.
Yeah, you can see what drove him to be that way, and actually how ruthless and manipulative he can be, despite throughout the film being this weirdly caring guy. But it's also the balance of like, does he just care about getting into university? Obviously there was the whole thing about the prize if the tributes were the best one or whatever. That's like ripped away from him by Peter Dinklage's character, but he still like continues to help this girl that he's like apparently fallen in love with. Yeah, you start to like feel for him.
Can I just say I love what they did with Peter Dinklage's character?
Yeah.
Like, when you first meet him and, like, throughout because we're supposed to be rooting for Snow as, like, the protagonist until, obviously, like, he changes. Peter Dinklage just seems like this really kind of, like, unfair, like, abuse of power kind of authority figure who's constantly trying to thwart Snow and, like, make life as miserable as possible for him. And it just seems like a kind of like petty revenge or like spiteful act until right at the end where it's like, actually I was doing the good thing.
Yeah.
I was justified in my actions in that I wanted to stop the Hunger Games.
Turns out he's trying to stop them. We're led to believe he's the creator of it and he's like caused it all in the first place. Turns out it was technically his idea, but he wasn't going to go through with it.
He literally says, like, I wrote it while I was drunk.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a stupid idea.
Bro, I was wasted. Like, why did you take this seriously, dude? Come on now. I think we should fucking get some kids together and fucking make them kill each other. I don't know.
Some people just, like, you know, when they get drunk, they, you know, just pass out on the sofa. Some people write an entire, like, 3,000-page essay on why survival of the fittest is the way to go and why we should be culling our population.
Yeah. It really depends what you drink.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of beer, maybe just, like, you know, sleep on the sofa. Vodka, you know, go get a takeaway. Wine. That's going to make you want to support, like, genocide.
Yeah, don't ever get wine drunk. It's the worst kind of drunk.
It's the worst one.
It's the worst kind of drunk there is.
Lucy Gray-Baird. Should we talk about the other main character?
No.
All right, okay.
I don't think she was important. No. Yeah, like, people will probably, like, they'd crucify you for saying it, but she's way better written and a way better character than Katniss is in the main series.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like, she's just more interesting, I think, as a character. She's got this like musical element about her. She just seems a bit more of like a go-getter. She's a bit more determined. She's a bit more sarcastic. Immediately when you see her, she's got this confidence. She like struts to the front. She does the snake prank on the mayor's daughter immediately. So you're immediately like, damn, this girl is going to be like feisty and going to fight in the arena for sure.
Yeah, she's super anti-authority and she has like every reason to be. I think the thing that mostly puts me off Katniss is that she's kind of written to be perfect. Like, she's this deadly archer who could kill anyone. Like, she could have killed anyone in the Hunger Games. She could have easily won it just through killing. But she won't kill anyone because of her morals or whatever. And like, everyone just fawns over her all the time.
All the boys
and she's
fancy
like
her.
selected as like the symbol of rebellion.
Yeah, there's a love shape evolving around her.
Yeah,
at any given
always
moment.
happening all the time. Whereas like Lucy Gray kind of knows her limits and knows like her drawbacks. Like, she knows like she's not actually got much of a chance of surviving.
Yeah, it was less of a love story, I think, than the main Hunger Games is. The love plot is such a huge part of the original series. There was the spark between them and the romance that was slowly blossoming as he was helping her. But it wasn't really about that. It was more, like we say, it was about the morals of, is he helping her for him? Is he selfish? Is it going to turn out he's just doing it for the prize money? It had that in it, but it wasn't the main focus at all.
They kind of kept true to the originals as well, in that like our main figurehead villain was again this kind of wanting to play God, have everything their own way, control everything kind of character portrayed by Viola Davis.
Yeah, the game maker, the head game maker. Yeah, great character. Sort of patronizing in a weird way as well. The way she was sort of killing people off and just being like, she died of the flu. What are you talking about?
What are you stupid? You're being stupid.
It's kind of weird how she caught the flu there, huh?
Viola Davis, I think, is one of those actors you could throw into anything and she'll give you a great performance.
She was like a chameleon as well. I sort of forgot it was her.
Yeah.
Like, she just sunk into that role. I mean, the makeup on it was brilliant. Was it glass? She was blind in one eye? Or
yeah,
glass
like
eye or something. The hair was crazy. Just a real, like,
proper
mad scientist.
Yeah,
mad scientist. Look at her.
One thing that stood out, because like what we complain about a lot, especially in the later movies, is how everything was very like samey, or like it was all grey and drab and didn't really have much of an identity. This one, I thought of Fallout a lot with this one, in that it had the whole like sci-fi dystopian feel, but the aesthetic was very clearly like earlier on the time, like 40s 50s kind of looking.
It's interesting because it's implied that it's the distant future, and we've got cameras and they've got technology and things, but then it's a steam train in this one as opposed to like the bullet train or whatever they're riding in the new one. So it's as if the original series. So it's as if like they're building up technology again, but there's still stuff from like previous civilizations,
the pre-war,
that are still there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got this weird like amalgamation of modern recording techniques, but they're still using like steam powered stuff and like mining and things, and it's like,
and like all the outfits and that are still very distinctly like 40s 50s.
Yeah, it was it. Well, yeah, like sort of brown raggedy trousers and stuff, and then like suits and smart.
It's a look. It's certainly a look. That's
capital.
A choice. You don't just end up like that.
You don't just end up looking like a newsie.
You have to go looking for that.
Something else we sort of wanted from the main series is a bit more time exploring the capital, which we got in this. Basically, like the majority of it was in the capital because we were following Snow.
Yeah, like the first two acts, like it's broken down into like was it three
parts,
three acts? Yeah, and the first two acts are pretty much like all capital.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. It was just nice and refreshing. This film didn't feel as grey. It was interesting to look at. There was the red uniforms, and even when he was a peacekeeper, it was like blue uniform. Even the district, to me, felt so much more full of life. Like the last two films, like Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2, the scenes in District 12 in this one felt like it had more life in them than those two films combined, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I suppose the only times you ever really see much of District 12 in the original series is either you see at the reaping ceremony. Anytime they go back there, it's mostly just kind of like follows Katniss, and it's usually like at her house, and then like when they're all bones. That's about all you get from District 12.
Yeah, I remember District 12 being like bombed and like skeletons everywhere. Kind of weird they just kind of did away with that.
They just retconned it.
This is my new character guy that thinks this film is set after the main series.
They rebuilt that pretty fast.
This is Snow's son? I don't know, there was something about this one that just visually was more interesting, which is odd because it's the same director.
And it seemed like more bare bones as well, like because obviously they had so much more to work with the originals, with all like the crazy like creatures they had and all the like the sci-fi tech. Yeah, like like everything was just so kind of much more distinct and had like a unique feel to it, even though it was kind of like they were more limited in what they could show and what they could have involved with it.
The Hunger Games themselves, I thought that was an interesting arena, the way they bombed it, and that kind of became a new arena with new places to hide and new places to climb and stuff. I guess like the previous 10 Hunger Games, well, previous 9 Hunger Games must have been like
just a circle with weapons.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like before then they'd kind of got them done in an afternoon.
Yeah,
because it gets to the point where it's nighttime and they're all like, "Oh my god!" And he's cancelling his like dinner reservations, and he's like, "Yeah, this is going on for longer than I thought it would." So it seems like in previous years they all just kill each other immediately, or in like a few hours.
Shouldn't put them all in like an enclosed space and like just give them weapons right away, right off the bat. Just a bloodbath is over in 10 minutes.
It's over in 10 minutes.
The only other thing is really like, I'm trying to think of his name. The guy that they cast to play Flickerman, like...
Oh, Jason Schwartzman?
Yes, looks so much like he could be related to Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, he really did. We're assuming it's his dad,
like either father or grandfather or something.
However that falls in the timeline. For a minute I was like, oh, it's a younger Caesar Flickerman. Then I was like, wait, no, it's like Caesar Flickerman wasn't like 100 years old.
It just gives you more reason to like dislike Caesar in the new ones, because nepotism. Unbelievable.
He did not work a damn day to get where he's got to. Came out the womb with a bloody microphone in his hand.
His daddy or his granddaddy, famous weatherman, famous Hunger Games presenter.
Yeah.
And amateur magician.
Don't forget amateur magician.
Amateur magician.
Yeah, just honestly, just such a solid prequel. It's got no right to be this good.
Yeah.
But it just is.
I think we've been like conditioned to just not expect a lot when it comes to prequels or sequels, when like there's a big time jump between them.
Yeah, sometimes they feel unnecessary. It's like a money grabbing thing. This one felt not unnecessary at all. It felt like important in a weird way to know this stuff. It sort of makes you view the main series a bit differently.
I suppose like a big part of that is the fact that it was a book. It was written
and of course, yeah, it was Suzanne Collins' book anyway.
She felt it important enough to write a book about it, so it makes sense that it would feel important within the world. Let's roll on, I guess, with our final kind of verdict. We're gonna try something new with the ranking system.
We're introducing a new ranking system in this video.
I think we just felt that like the 1 to 10 was kind of didn't have enough character. It doesn't say enough.
Feels a bit arbitrary sometimes. It's just assigning a number. What does that even mean?
That doesn't mean anything. I'm gonna pop this solidly along the lines of Peter Jackson's King Kong. It's good. Like it's not quite in the upper echelons, but like it's good. It's definitely good. It's worth a rewatch, and especially with like the length of it, it definitely compares to that.
Yeah.
But it's not one of those ones where like you feel the length. You don't sit there like looking at your watch, looking at your phone, like waiting for it to end.
I mean, to be fair, I think my one criticism is I thought part 3 dragged a little bit. Just felt a little bit inflated towards the end. I think that was my only
I do remember
you
screaming. You said the Hunger Games are over. The Hunger Games are over. Why is it still going?
I was like, why is it still going? What else do we need to say? Switch it off.
But yeah, like solid, like higher tier as compared to like other stuff. It's definitely like on the level of that.
Nice. That's a good ranking. I'm gonna put mine right about Liar Liar. I think in the same sort of reason, it's not going to be heralded as an absolute classic. It's just a really enjoyable watch. Yeah, absolutely, it's worth a rewatch. I think you'll get more out of it the second time. It's just a solid film.
I think we both enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think fans of the series as a whole will enjoy it.
I think there was plenty of fan service, but not ham-fisted in there. There was a couple of
little shouts out, little references.
Yeah. Thank you for watching HAZMAT reviewing The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us do more stuff like this in the future, then you can support the channel by leaving a like and a comment. You can hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted to our more recent uploads. And as always, all of our socials will be listed down in the description.
And join us next time where we enter the arena and just start kicking.
And maybe we'll win, and the prize could be a little Christmas stocking.
Yes.
Just a little one.
What's in there?
A snake.
Oh no! Oh no!